Is Hot Girl Summer still happening this year?
How many carbs are in a White Claw?
If I squat every day, will I get a dump truck?
I'm Shay.
I'm Leah.
We are Two-Tone Training.
You're listening to Don't Tone Alone.
Welcome back, toners. Welcome back, riders. It's another Thursday. I'm Shay.
I'm Leah.
And we are so excited to have you guys back for the Don't Tone Alone podcast. Hopefully you guys have been liking our episodes. It's episode number 3. Leah, I can't believe it.
I cannot believe it. To look back from now to episode 1, such a long time. A whole 2.5 weeks. What a journey.
Feels like we've been doing it a century.
No, it's been so awesome hearing some of the feedback and people liking the Don't Tone Alone vibes. I'm like, thank you.
Yes, keep the DMs coming. Keep the content requests coming. We're always looking for new topics to talk about. So any suggestions, definitely send them our way.
Yeah, Shay is like, please slide in our DMs. All right, so today we are talking about the birth of two-tone training, the birth of the tones, if you will, how we got started, and we're looking all the way back to pre-quarantine, pre-COVID, because things really did start to happen before then. So you guys are getting the whole story here.
True that. I can't believe it's been a little bit over a year. We started our first official, Instagram page. Was it in March?
It was in March. Yeah, I want to say like mid-March was when we started. It was like _2_toned X3.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh my God, it was janky, but we've come a long way. And to think about what we were doing before then, it's almost like surreal. It's hard almost envisioning life before two-toned.
What was life before two-tone training? No, seriously, it is so crazy to think that Shay and I were living in separate states for 8 years prior to this, and now the girl, leave me alone, Shay, go away.
No, she goes to work and I'm like, I miss you. Come back.
We live together. We work together. We work out together. But we do have separate full-time jobs. So she is right. I do go to work and I'm like, bye, honey. See you later.
It's the worst time of the day.
We'll text each other. I will literally step into my car, drive away. I'm 1 minute down the block and Shay's like, wait. Leah calls me.
Did you answer that email?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I saw you 1 minute ago.
No, it's funny. We always have something to say to each other. And when she comes back home, you would have thought we haven't seen each other in years.
Yeah, no, really, it was just a couple hours.
But no, the truth is that we haven't always been attached at the hip. We've always been close.
Yeah.
But obviously over the past year, that bond has grown and all right, it is so crazy to think about what we were doing before two-tone training, before quarantine. I went to fashion school in New York City, studied fashion, business side of it, and then also the design side of it. When I graduated, my first job was for an intimate apparel company doing their social media and marketing. I feel like it was when social media was just becoming kind of a thing. When
Facebook was still so lit.
Yeah, a lot of brands didn't really know what they were doing. There was no content strategy. Influencers weren't as much of a thing as they are now. So it's also crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So I signed on to this company and they were pretty much like, all right, take over the social media, do with it what you will. Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And I stayed at that company for 3 years and really starting to understand the brand side of things, see a lot of the behind the scenes on photo shoots and stuff like that. And I think that's where I fell in love with some of that content creation process. But I definitely still, at the end of the day, had all this energy that I didn't know what to do with.
Right.
So
that the intimate apparel company just wasn't pulling out of you.
Yeah, it was a hype up, but I still was looking for something else.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we talked about this a little bit on the other podcast, was that the excitement at the end of my day was going to some of these group fitness classes.
Yeah.
Getting really excited to sign up for different studios throughout the city and try out new classes.
And I remember being kind of surprised because growing up, I was the athlete, you were a dancer, and I think you did cheerleading, and I'm throwing zero hate at that because don't get me wrong, I've tried to TikTok. I can't dance. Those cheer competitions, if anyone watched cheer on Netflix,
no joke.
whoa, bow down. But then you weren't always into the fitness part of it. So I remember like getting a call from you and you're like, I just left like this group fitness class. I was like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? And you were so like captivated by it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, it was the whole experience. It was like the lights, the energy. And I think I was like, wait, like I actually really enjoy this, especially having been a dancer.
Right.
Being able to do some of these workouts like to the beat of the music was
Right.
definitely my jam. And then being able to see the changes like in like mentally and physically
Yeah.
for sure. Like it was that outlet for me. And it's interesting how like one thing definitely like led to the next.
Right.
Because that's where I started to fall in love with fitness. And I was like, wait, like I just want to spend more and more of my time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when I knew it was kind of time to leave the intimate apparel company. I was like, I really see myself working in fitness
Mm-hmm.
and ideally being able to tie together those two worlds of fitness and fashion.
Yeah.
And that's when I made the jump to Alala, shout out,
Hey.
because they've been such a supportive brand of us, especially as we've
Oh my
like
God,
started
yeah.
our page.
Yeah.
And you and I kind of talked about that. We'd have to talk about it a whole nother episode.
Right,
Some of
right.
those like brand partnerships and how we partner with brands and the social media side of
Yeah,
things.
that's definitely a different episode. But yeah, that was your next step in your career.
Yeah, so working for Alala was one of the best experiences ever, I have to say. Like, I think when I got that job, I was like, wow, like this is exactly what I want to do. Like, I was setting up events for different like influencer events, and we were outfitting everyone, and it was just so much fun getting to like work out as part of my job. And this is also at the same time I was getting certified too to become like a group fitness instructor. I was like, I'm seeing so many people, they're killing it. Like I want to do that too.
It was such a good fit for you, and there's nothing, I mean, I think everyone can agree there's nothing more fulfilling and satisfying than being in a job, in a career that you are so passionate about and so aligned with. Like you wake up every day and you're like, you know what, I'm excited to go to work. And that is so rare.
So rare. Like, yeah, that was like probably the first time, like not to say I didn't like my other job because that's so not true. And I learned so much from it, but it's definitely the first time I would like wake up and be like, wow, like, I don't know, like it felt like more of than just a job. Like it felt like I was just
a
like
career.
a career. I was in my jam, in my element.
Yeah.
And that was so exciting. So I guess flash forward to, I guess almost a year later, and the pandemic happened. I was furloughed from work. A lot of companies working for a smaller company, it's tough. Like we were a small team, and they had to make some hard decisions while the kind of world tried to figure out what was happening, and people tried to get their feet back underneath them. And but I remember that being really devastating for me, getting furloughed from work.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was actually going through like a really bad breakup.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I just was like, oh my gosh, like that was probably like the lowest point in my life, I would have to say, like going through all of that at one time. I was like, my dream job, and the person I thought I was going to marry, like, is no longer a part of my life. And I was living with him at the time. So I was kind of like, wow, like really forced to make some hard, uncomfortable decisions.
No, I have to agree. Like that was really hard seeing you like that this summer, and just seeing like the pain you were in, and it was such a hard time for everyone. But then to be going through that on top of it, like I felt for you and I hurt for you, but now seeing where you are now, like it makes me so happy. Like, I mean, everyone's journey obviously makes them who they are, and I think this really shaped the person you are now. And oh my God, I'm like going off on a tangent.
Like, I'm getting emotional here on the podcast.
No, but it's so true. And like just seeing how you've kind of built yourself back up from ground zero, and you're working your dream job now. We're doing this thing together, and it makes me so happy. So you're where you are. We get to quarantining at my parents' house, but now we need to talk about how I got there.
Yeah. So I think we need to pedal back a little bit, but I also want to say that like, I feel like sometimes you do have to hit those like lowest lows to kind of experience those highest highs. And two-tone training is definitely, as we'll get to, like one of those for us, that high. But it was a journey, and it hasn't always been easy. But before two-tone training, Lee and I, like I said, we're living in separate states.
Right.
But I remember this is a trip that just like stands out, and a very important, I think, landmark on the two-tone training timeline, I think.
I agree. So my story isn't quite as exciting as Shay's, but I was I went to a school locally in the Boston area, and I played 2 sports there. So I played 2 collegiate sports, and I loved it. Sports was always my life growing up. I was daddy's little athlete. Is that even a term?
Well, all I'm gonna say right here is like Leah and I we're 2 years apart.
Yep.
And sometimes we'd play for like the same team. And I remember we like hit that age group where it was like, okay, like Shay, like you're gonna have to play with the older kids, and like Leah, you're back a year. And like our dad always like loved to coach the teams, and I like was like, Dad, at least pretend you have to think about whose team you want to coach. Like, he's like, Shay, like just to stick on the bench.
just there's a warm spot on the bench for you.
Right. Can't win them all.
Yeah, no. I was so into sports. Played basketball and lacrosse in college, and obviously strength and conditioning and fitness was a part of that. We had to do, I don't miss those, like the 6 a.m. workouts before practice. And I was like, oh my God, this is awful. But I definitely learned a lot. And like I said, was into fitness, but was just really focused on sports, and basketball was absolutely my passion. Then I graduated and did the typical, and I think a lot of people in Massachusetts or in New England kind of do this, where they move home for a year and they're like, all right, I'm saving up, sucking up my pride. Mom and Dad, I'm back.
Knock, knock, knock.
Hey, Karen. What you making for dinner? She's like, you can make your own dinner. You can tone alone, Leah. No, so I did that. But a lot of my friends, I was lucky. I went to school nearby. So a lot of my friends lived in the area. Some of them moved out right away. They're like, I am not going home. I was like, that's awesome. I'll be over every weekend.
Right.
See you there. We'll go out in Boston. I'll crash on your couch. It's going to be a whole thing. So I did that for 2 years, was working at a gym nearby, and just, yeah, I mean, Shay and I would talk. We'd call each other. I'd go visit her in New York every once in a while. We were definitely close, but now we get to that trip in LA where we were both certified trainers at the time. So I got my certification. Shay had her certification, and we met. So it was like the perfect storm. Boom, shakalaka, here comes Shay and Leah in LA.
Oh my gosh. All right. So the reason we went to LA was Alala. We were doing some pop-up events with some other cool brands out there. And I remember my boss was like, all right, like, well, we need to send someone out there to kind of like do these like event activations with different studios. And I was like, me. And they're like, all right, well, it's kind of like a lot for just like one person to go. Like, you're probably gonna need someone else with you. And we had a really small team at the time. And I was like, I know just the person.
I know just the toned.
Yep. And so I called Leah and I was like, all right, I don't care what you're doing in 2 weeks because we're going to LA. Like, pack your bags. We kind of knew it wouldn't be the most glamorous trip from a sense of like, it was going to be a lot of work. Like, we were going to hustle. We were going to be carrying heavy boxes across the city, staying in a small hotel.
Yep.
But we were just like so excited to be like traveling together, traveling for work, and also getting to go to some of these like epic fitness classes and set up these activations for influencers and just fitness enthusiasts throughout the city.
Yeah. And Shay and I had actually like talked about me moving to New York at one point, and it was just, again, life just kind of gets in the way where she had a boyfriend. I was working at a job that was going well, and I think everyone can agree it's just so easy to get comfortable. And then we went to LA, and it was just like life, the world just opened up, and I was like, what am I doing? We'd had conversations about me moving there, us starting something. And I think that trip to LA was just like, okay, something needs to happen. We need to do something together, because we realized, again, we've spent time together, but that was the first time we had spent that much time together in a long time. We were like, we are the same person. We are both like willing to put in that hard work, that hustle. Let's do it for ourselves.
For sure. No, I remember I remember like the end of that trip, like we were literally like on the like pier, like crying. And we were like, wait, this trip was like so epic. We worked so hard, but it was still like so fulfilling. I think a lot of other people might have like done some of that like nitty gritty stuff that came with that trip, and I'm like, oh, that's it for me. But the fact that we still found like so much joy, so much like love and excitement from it, just like knew that we were on the right track and we had something.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that that Leah and I even ended up with tattoos.
So like, Shay and I, we have 2 matching tattoos, as if we aren't like alike enough. And people often say, "Are you guys twins?" So we have a matching tattoo, one on our spine, and that's like a very sentimental one. It's in my grandpa's handwriting. My grandpa. Yeah, okay. He ain't your grandpa. He's my grandpa. I'm kidding. And then the second one was this trip just being so monumental. We're like, all right, we got to get a tattoo.
As one does.
As one does. So it's an open delta, and it means open to change.
And we did a little bit of research. It took, I think, 2 tattoo shops. I don't know, asking for a friend.
Yeah.
To get this tattoo. I have to say, guys, like, we'll have to post a picture. Like, they ain't the cutest.
It's so funny. So we walk in, and
this is the second place.
This is the second place. So, oh my God, I feel like we could do a whole episode on getting this tattoo. We'll spare you guys the details. But basically, it was a whole to-do. We had to catch flights back home like real soon. Like, we did not have time to get tattoos, but we were determined.
Yeah, we're like, we're not leaving LA without this open delta.
No. If we do, then it's just a failed trip. So naturally, we go in. This guy, this tattoo artiste, is doing a Star Wars mural on someone, which, like, I don't really watch Star Wars, but I was like, wow, this is so impressive. This is so cool. So, of course, we go to talk to him, and we're like, listen, we're getting these open deltas. Call us basic. Fine. Fair. And I think you can handle it, yeah? And he's like, guys, I could pretty much do this in my sleep, was his response.
His like eyes are rolling to the back of his head. Yeah. He's like, all right, these 2 girls in the matching workout sets. Like, all right, come sit down. Let me give you your open delta.
I'm like, okay. And me being the person, again, not afraid to make the substitutes at restaurants, not afraid to put in my 2 cents.
A little Karen in you.
A little Karen. Our mom's name is Karen. And yep, I see that, in me sometimes. So I was like, as he's drawing it, I was like, are you sure that's straight? And he's really just like, yeah. Like, shush, I just did a mural. Like, you're good. I just drew Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, to perfection. And you're worried that I can't draw this triangle. Like, zip it. So, of course, I was like, okay, that's fine. We leave. Shay had a flight back to New York. I was flying back.
Like, sprinting to the plane. Like, I think I was the last person to board the plane, and, like, without food, mind you. And, like, you don't want to see me when I'm hangry. And that whole 6-hour flight, like, your girl was not cute.
So not only were you hangry, but you also had a newly fresh crooked tattoo. We both looked at our tattoo. I think we both had layovers or something. We were like sending pictures. I was like, Shay, is yours crooked? Are your lines all wonky? I'm not going to name this tattoo place, but it was wild how bad they messed up this triangle, this open delta.
Yeah, we had 2 separate artists. And for those of you watching the YouTube, Leah, I feel like we got to kind of show it. Yeah. I'm trying to flash it a little bit. But mine looks like it was done with like a ballpoint pen, and Leah's with a Sharpie.
And the lines are crooked and they're touching, and it's just, it's a whole not vibe.
All right. Well, now that we've blabbed on about our tattoos, no, but it really, even though the tattoos are crooked, it's definitely just as like a reminder of where we started and like how far we've come. And after that, I think obviously it was a few months before the world kind of shut down and was flipped on its head.
Yeah.
And once I was furloughed from work, went through the bad breakup, I was kind of going back and forth between my apartment in New York and home. And I was definitely dragging Leah back to New York with me. I like refused to go alone.
Hey, it was that or hang out with our parents. I was like, take me.
I'll go.
No shade, but a little.
Oh my gosh. So this is when we were pretty much quarantined together.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, what a better time. Like I had a lot of free time at that point. I was furloughed from work. Wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was like, why don't we kind of start teaching classes together? Like, we're
Yeah.
both certified. A few of our friends had reached out asking like for some fitness advice during the pandemic. They were
Right.
like, do you have any like workout moves that I can do at home? How do I stay active, especially when I have no equipment?
Right.
People weren't prepared.
No,
for this.
they weren't. I remember like dumbbells were wildly priced. It was like $300 for a 10-pound dumbbell. I was like, that's whack. And I think that's when our bread and butter, if you will, came to be of our body weight exercises. Like a lot of our workouts are body weight based because one, you can get a fantastic workout doing body weight stuff. Maybe you're not going to hit all your strength goals, and that's when you do need to incorporate equipment. But if you want to get your heart rate up, your cardio up, these body weight exercises are it. And I think a lot of our friends were excited that they could stay in shape while being quarantined with no equipment.
Yeah, and it was something that we just like loved so much and had so much fun doing that we like created, like Leah said at the beginning of the episode, this like janky Instagram name, like @2toned_x3
Yeah.
or something like that.
Something along those lines.
And it was like a private account.
Yep.
We had a few of our friends follow us, and we're like, well, we'll just do it on IG Live. Like, we have 4 followers. Like,
Yeah.
just come tone with us.
Yeah,
Like, it'll
4
be,
followers, basically influencers.
yeah, and one of them being like Chad, our brother.
And Karen.
Yep. But it was cool to kind of see the domino effect there. Like, they started to tell like their friends about it, and before we knew it, we had a few followers, nothing
Yeah,
crazy, but it
yeah.
was kind of cool to start seeing like more and more people tune in for some of these like random lives.
Right.
Like, Lee and I would randomly decide, all right, tonight we're going live, and it was
Yeah.
definitely like cool to see those numbers start to go up.
No, it was really awesome. So I think like ready or not, and you can't plan everything in life, and you're not always prepared. If you're waiting for the perfect time, it's never going to be. But ready or not, two-tone training became a thing. People started to kind of wonder about it. What's going on? What are they doing? And so we started rolling with it. We're like, why not? I remember we took our tripod, we marched to the park down the street, and we're like, let's get some photos, some content.
I remember like my mom Karen was like, I'll be the creative director. We
Yep.
had Chad like filming, like it was a family affair.
It was.
We got everyone involved. And again, it was really, really scrappy. Like, you look at some of our
Scrappy,
first
that's the
IG TVs, and like, I cringe a little bit. Like,
A lot of it.
I remember we had to even like move a ton of like furniture in the house.
Right.
Like, our poor parents, like they like saints for like letting us kind of
Really?
do that.
Yeah.
We would literally rearrange the entire basement.
Right.
Like, have to take a table like up 3 flights of stairs in order to make enough room to really work out.
Yeah. We're like, this is not the vibe. We need to move the table. Like, we're so obnoxious.
Yeah, no, but we made that studio our own. I remember even ordering like pictures of weights on like
Yeah.
Amazon to like kind of like cover some of like the back panels.
Cover the clutter.
Yeah.
We're like, don't look here, look here.
Check out
Can
this
I-
epic weight canvas.
Can I shift your attention to stage left? But yeah, no, we made it work. And I think that is just how we operate now. It's not always perfect. It's not always going to be glamorous. But Shay and I mean, some people may think we're a little crazy, which we definitely are, but we are willing to put in that work. And I think that's what people don't realize is a lot of people kind of quit when things just aren't as easy as they thought. And this certainly has not been as easy as we maybe thought. But we are both people that are willing to go the extra mile for things that we really care about, that we're really passionate about.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it definitely is not always glamorous, and Instagram tends to show those highlight reels, and people looking at our page now might have not seen that initial content
Right.
or like that backdrop of the clutter or whatever it is. And it's just like the journey has been crazy, and being able to kind of grow from those initial IG lives to now teaching on an app is almost like surreal.
It is surreal. So yeah, so basically we started doing Instagram lives. We started partnering with some companies that I can't believe that they were willing to partner with us, because we legit had like 50 followers.
Yeah, and we need to touch on that quickly. And like, again, that's going to be another episode,
right.
is these brand partnerships. But like, I think the biggest thing that comes out of this, if you never ask, like the answer is always going to
Yes.
be no. So Leah and I were not afraid to ask. Like we didn't have many followers.
Nope.
But we were 2 girls and we're like, we will create some epic picture, if you will.
Pictures. Do you see the vision?
Yeah. Epic content.
Right.
And it was pretty much like in exchange for product. Like
Yeah.
no one was paying us at this time. One of our first brand shout outs, Fit Fine Wine.
Yeah.
I remember they sent us a bunch of wine and we were so hyped. Like we recorded like, I think like 10 videos of us like tossing the wine back and forth, like into a crunch, backflip burpee, like
again, at our local park.
Yep. But I think that's just kind of how like it started, and it starts with one brand partnership, and then you kind of get the hang of it, and you start working with other brands and starting to create those like genuine relationships. And I think that's one of the reasons that our page has grown. I guess not that it's crazy grown, but at the speed that it has. And I think we can say thank you to a lot of our friends, our family, and those brands that have supported us throughout the way.
Yeah. For sure. So we were doing those Instagram lives. We were starting to pump out the content. And I think we did get a following. We were getting followers and we were starting to get recognition. But I remember even like a few months in, like we're still at our parents' house. We're doing the Instagram lives. By the way, I was still working full time, remotely, which was, great. And it allowed me to do all of this two-tone stuff, which was really what I had the passion for. I mean, I think all my coworkers were like, she's signing on, but her brain is totally elsewhere.
Yeah, I see you live on Instagram.
I see you live on Instagram, and it says you're logged into work and you're on the Zoom and your camera is off. So I'm just confused.
To say the least.
To say the least, but shout out to them because they were super supportive. So that was amazing. But again, I remember us hitting this point where we're like, okay, we're doing these Instagram lives. We're doing all this free stuff. We're not making money from this. We're investing a lot of money. Are we doing the right thing? Do we keep going? What are we missing? It was discouraging. I remember feeling discouraged.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a quick reminder for everyone. Like, you do have to like spend money to make money and pump out a lot of free content, which can sometimes, like, if you love it, of course, like you have to remind yourself like how much you do love it, but it can be discouraging at times. And I think that we had some tough nights. We cried, we laughed, or whatever it was. But then a few months later, we had a few apps reaching out to us. But I think this is when enter Salute.
Yes.
So shout out to the Salute team. They're a fitness app that was just like one of the first apps that we just like really like clicked with.
Yeah.
Like, they just seemed to be like on the money. It was a small team, but they were like, let us help you like monetize this business.
Right. And I think a lot of other fitness instructors can maybe relate to this where you talk to these apps and virtual fitness was becoming such a thing. So anyone with like a few hundred followers or whatever the case was probably getting reached out to by an app. And a lot of times you can just feel like a number. But Salute was the first company that I felt like they really cared. They believed in us and they wanted to hear what we wanted, what our vision was for this app. And that was really cool.
Yeah. They're pretty much like, what features would you like? What would make your experience a little bit better? Like, how can we move you from IG Live to this app? And it was just like so cool to be one of the first trainers onto the app and to be able to grow with them. And it's kind of funny because now I actually work full time for the app. And again, we say like domino effect, one thing leads to another. And starting as a trainer on the app, I actually now work full time for the app doing their social media. So it's just been really cool to grow with them, grow with the company. And they've definitely helped grow Two Tone as well. And now we have like our own virtual community who tones with us 3 times a week, which is just like so awesome.
Yeah. And I think that was when it really clicked was when we were getting those people coming back day in, day out to each class. They were excited. They were posting about us on their page. And I'm like, people are like, oh, do you know her? And we're like, I mean, yeah, we do now, but we didn't before this. And that's really one of the amazing things that came out of this whole quarantine COVID situation. Have to look at the bright side sometimes. And that was an amazing thing, is connecting with these people that you never would have.
So true. So at this time that we're starting to teach virtually a few classes a week, we also launched our in-person LED boot camp. So that's kind of what we're known for right now. But guys, let me tell you, the start of this, like, I don't even know what made us think of the concept. I think I came to Leah one day and was just like, I think this would be really cool. Like, I've seen a lot of those cool like 5K races that they do like paint or themes.
Right,
and I'm like,
right.
how do we bring that to a workout experience? And the LED lights was something that like came to mind, and we like looked it up, and it just like didn't really exist, especially like in an outdoor boot camp format.
Exactly.
So we're looking online. We're trying to find like what equipment we can buy, and there just like really wasn't anything out there. So when I tell you our first equipment was like the jankiest of all janky.
That is
like,
that is the word of the podcast.
Yeah.
Janky.
Yeah, like get scrappy with it, get janky. Like
Get janky with it.
We were taping lights to ladders, wrapping like these cut up LED strips to hurdles. Like, I don't know. If you saw this equipment in the light, you'd be horrified.
No, yeah. I remember like sweating. It's in the middle of summer where we got this agility ladder. We're like taping all ends of it. I'm like, this doesn't even look good, but okay. We're lugging this equipment to a local park. A local park. Your word's janky. My phrase is a local park. We're lugging it. We're doing it at night, so we're getting there early. We're leaving by like 9 p.m. I'm like, I have to get up and pretend to sign on to work tomorrow. Like, it was really tiring and exhausting. And again, it wasn't the beautiful product that we imagined, but we're like, we have to keep going. We have to get people into our classes, put on these awesome boot camps despite this janky equipment, and make them believe that fitness can be fun. And I think we did that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there were added challenges, not only like not having much of a budget, having this like half-ass equipment, and then getting people to come, and also in the middle of a pandemic too. Like, there was a lot to keep in mind as far as like rules, regulations, like making sure people were sanitized, we were covered by insurance,
right?
Like, just making sure that we were doing things like all the right ways. And like, there are things you don't even think about, like permits for fields, and there's so much that goes into just hosting like a pop-up boot camp.
Yeah,
that
I feel like pop-up makes it sound like so casual.
Yeah,
like, it's not pop-up.
Fingers, and you have an agility ladder,
and poof. No, there was nothing poofy and poppy about it.
No, true that. But like, we would have to like beg people to come.
Yeah,
we asked our friends, our neighbors, our family, and
that's honestly, that's where I feel like this can all tie back to the highlight reel that you see for other people. So like for us, it can be discouraging when we're seeing these other classes of like this video where the class is filled and all this stuff, but you don't see the behind the scenes work. And I think for us, people looking at our page, maybe you're this social media wizard, and yeah, it was a good time and people were having fun, but like, they didn't see the behind the scenes of us sweating, fighting, crying right before everyone else came, right before we shot this cool LED bootcamp video. Like, you don't see the struggle on Instagram. You don't.
Yeah. And I think we reached a point too. It's like, again, our poor parents, like, we were like, where do we put this equipment? Like, we were like trying to store like a box jump.
Like in the shower.
Yeah.
We're like, you don't want to shower with a box jump?
Like, it just got to the point where it was just crazy. Like, there was just nowhere to film and nowhere to store the equipment. And Lee and I were kind of like, we need space. Like, we need some, like, I don't know, just like some space from each other, like some space to move. Like, there were just so many of us and so much fitness equipment in the house that there was nowhere to go. So we kind of took a leap of faith and ended up signing a lease. Like, and it was scary. I remember that being a really scary time for me, because I was like, shoot, like, I don't even know where my full-time income is coming from. Like, I was doing some like freelance work and things like that. But I was like, wait, like, I don't know if I should be signing a lease right now.
Wait, guys, if this isn't the ultimate like trust right here, listen to this. I signed the lease for our place and I didn't even see it. Didn't even tour it.
Yeah.
Shay just called me and she was like, I found a good place. It has storage. I think our landlord to this day thinks that we are storing dead bodies in the storage, because Shay was so excited when she heard that there's a storage unit. She's like, oh my God, all the LED equipment, like, imagine. But I'm sure the landlord was like, why are you getting so excited?
Yeah,
this
like,
is
I've never
weird.
seen someone this hyped about this.
Yeah.
Like, this like a storage unit that has like holes in the wall.
Yeah.
And, like, barely locked.
Like, it's perfect.
We'll take it.
She is beauty. She is grace. But yeah, so she called me and she's like, it has a storage unit. It's like close enough to Boston where it's not like a complete pain in the butt to get in there. It's right near where my full-time job is now, where you were training on the side. So it just like location wise made sense. So I was like, yeah, Let's do it. Go.
And like another feature, first floor. Like we are jumping around. Like that was like, think about
First
it now.
floor.
Like that's
my God.
such a selling point because we are constantly like dropping weights and like our poor neighbors.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised that they don't constantly give us dirty looks. Well, maybe they do.
Right. But like what started as like a tripod in a park in our parents' backyard, moving equipment in our like laundry room.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see, like, even though I think we have, and I know we have a long way to go. The fact that we have like an in-home studio is really cool. Like we have this like fake turf grass.
Yep.
So for those of you who haven't tuned in with us virtually, like go check it out. Like it has come a long way.
You have the stick-on wallpaper. That's, again, another episode. Shay opened the wallpaper, said she was going to complete the project, and things went differently.
Yep. All right. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We have a cool logo on the back.
We had a chandelier that we had removed.
Right. We, I think, messaged our landlord and we're like, can you take the chandelier in the living room down? And they're like, I'm confused. Why? And we're like, well, I can't do burpees.
Yeah.
Like when the chandelier.
Oh, yeah. She's like, what? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so like what turned into like finally being able to have a space of our own. I think our virtual classes really benefited from that. We were really starting to able to have more of a consistent schedule, more of a consistent clientele coming to our virtual classes just because they knew what to expect and we didn't have to kind of guess where we were going to be popping up.
Popping up. Yeah. No, that was such a game changer, especially, again, Shay and I both work full-time. I'm the operations manager at like a high-end gym. Shay is working as the social media manager for Salute. So we didn't have the time. Like I'm going into work sometimes and training virtually, it's like all we need to do is move our ring light and boom, go. And I think that was just like such a game changer.
Yeah. And I think just going forward, that has to be the game changer. It's like finding out ways to kind of save ourselves time because we are stretched pretty thin right now, and learning to kind of what to say no to has been one of our biggest, I think, obstacles. It's that you do get presented with a lot of cool opportunities, and Leah and I are ones that like never want to say no when we want to be a part of everything. But there's only so much you really can do, and there's only so much time in a day, and our days are long, but it's worth it.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think just knowing that, or looking back at where we were and where we are now, because of the scrap, the hustle, the hard work, doing the things that other people wouldn't do, dragging the equipment across the yard, across the park at 9 at night, getting up early the next day. I mean, a lot of people do that, but we can edit this out. I think it's hard to find people that are willing to go that extra mile and stick with it.
No, for sure. And there are times where even still we feel stagnant. We get frustrated. Sometimes we're like, oh, like, why aren't we getting like this many people to sign up for classes? Or what are we doing wrong? Or shoot, we have class tomorrow that we totally forgot about and we totally forgot to even like advertise.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get like frustrated. But I think if you kind of look at that like day-to-day growth, it can sometimes like be up and down. And I think that like, but you have to be able to zoom out and see that bigger trend. And I'm like, okay, now like looking at like where we started to where we are now, seeing that overall trend line going up, it's a lot easier to kind of be like motivated by that and be like, okay, like I'm on the right track. It's not always going to be easy. Day in and day out, there are going to be those obstacles. Our audio.
Not here.
But no, just seeing like how far we've come.
Yeah. And I think, the most amazing part of it all is that we do have each other, and we do have each other to lean on. We always joke that we take turns having mental breakdowns, and when one of us is feeling so overwhelmed and stressed and like, listen, like I feel like I'm not giving enough to like these areas of my life, and so many people can relate to that. I have you to kind of pull me out of it, and vice versa. Is we have each other to lean on. We have each other to build each other up. So it is important, even if you don't have a sister, to find those people that are going to push you and remind you of your why, and keep encouraging you to do what you're passionate about.
Couldn't have said it better myself, but really balancing each other out. And we kind of get this question a lot too, is do we fight? And I think, like you said, we take turns kind of just being like in our moods, and we're pretty good about being like, all right, you're being a bitch.
Yeah. We'll like laugh about it too. Like a few minutes later.
You're right.
Yeah. Like you were having a moment. You're okay now. We fed you.
Right.
Yeah.
But also having like our own roles in the business too. Like Leah and I have such different strengths. Like even though people think we're the same person and that we're attached to the hip, which we are, like we definitely have our different strengths. Like anything like social media related.
That's Shay.
Yeah, that is me for the most part.
I joke.
Any bad stories and like Leah.
Yeah, I joke that people know what Instagram story. Like, how do I know who's posting what? I'm like, anything that doesn't look like super aesthetically pleasing and isn't awesome. Yeah, that's me. Here, me. Present.
But Leah is honestly like the woman who like ties this thing together, like who really just like keeps us like on track. It's funny. She's an operations manager. It's her full-time job. And she really is the like operations of two-tone training. Like she keeps us on track. She makes sure like, we have even like charged speakers for the, like, I'm a little clueless when it comes to that stuff. So she is making sure we have like waivers signed that we're like having our permits and things like that. Yeah. So more of the business side of things for sure.
Well, yeah. I think that's so awesome that your weaknesses are my strengths. You get it. You get it.
I got that. Yeah. Okay. Well, as we kind of wrap this up, Leah, do you have a favorite two-tone training moment?
Oh my God.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Okay, I would say there's so many, but I think teaching in Copley Square a few months ago was just so monumental. And looking back at our parents' basement, our outside of our pool, covering up the clutter, whatever it was, and then being like, wow, we're in Copley Square right now, and it's because of all the hard work we put in. So that was just a moment of like, okay, that's confirmation where we're doing something right. How about you?
Wow. Okay. That's a really good one. And that's definitely one that sticks out to me as well. I think one of mine actually was recently, and for those of you who were there, it was our friends and family event. Like there was a lot that went wrong. Like our audio, the truck, Move Studios, shout out
Move Studios Boston,
was broken down on the side of the road. Like we had invited all our friends and family to come tone with us, and I remember us being like so in our own heads, and it was definitely like frustrating. But I remember after it, or towards the end of the class, we were like doing the finisher and like looking out and just like, oh my God, like look at all of these people that came out like to work out with us, to support us.
Yeah.
It was just really rewarding to bring all those people together. And we just got like so much good feedback. People being like, that was so much fun. Like, I can't believe where you guys are. And,
and they were a lot of the same people that were supporting us when we were in our parents' basement, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't go unnoticed. So the highs, the lows, they've been through it all.
Yes. So grateful for them. All right. We are going to end off with a little game. We have 4 sort of questions, and we each answer them. And what we're going to do is test each other on what we think each other's answer is going to be.
So like how well we know each other, which hopefully
I
is
feel
pretty
like,
good at this point. Yeah. But we'll see.
We'll see. So, okay. So the first question is least favorite household chore to do. So we live together, as we mentioned. So I'm going to write down what I think Shay put as her answer, and she's going to write down what I put as my answer.
All right. Ready? All right, so for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll be able to kind of check us. Also, we have Tyler, our intern, in the house to kind of
I have
hold
chicken scratch, so they won't be able to read it, but it's fine.
All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. All right. So mine says taking out the trash. I think that's your least favorite. Like I feel like you hate like going down to the basement to take out the trash.
Nailed it.
Wait. Oh, yay. Okay. Wait. What did you write for mine?
So yeah, no, that is so. Yeah, we have this like 2x2 recycling bin that just like you put like one can in it. It's like, oh, gotta go take out the trash. I'm like, bro, this is my cardio for every day, just constantly taking out the recycling bin. Okay, I wrote putting away dishes, but I didn't have time to write also making the cold brew, which I don't even know if you'd say that's a chore.
It's funny. Okay, so that's what I wrote. Putting away the dishes.
Yeah. Like I'll come home. Again, I work in the office. Shay works at home all day. I'll come home. The dishes are stacked like like so high. And I'm like, I'll just be so passive aggressive about it. I'll be like taking like the dishes, like clearing them off, like making so much noise. Like, Oh, someone's got to do this.
Okay. And as far as the cold brew, like, it's just kind of funny. Like, I taught Leah how to make the cold brew, and like ever since then, like,
It's evil. I don't know if anyone has like a cold brew maker. If you don't have one, you should get one. It's awesome. But Shay was just like an evil genius. She taught me how to do it. And then my personality is like, I always need to like get things done and like check things off the list. So every day, like I'll come home from work and I'll like make the cold brew. And like, if I don't do it, we're not having coffee that day.
Right, talk about like project management by me. Like, and also that saying, what, like, give a man a fish, like he eats her one day, like teach a man to fish, teach a man, a toner to make cold brew.
You're not allowed to have any more fish or cold brew. So take that.
Noted.
Okay. All right. Next one, biggest pet peeve of me. So I'm writing what I think your biggest pet peeve is of me. Okay.
All right. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. So I wrote stains everything like that. Like, I stain. Leah calls me Staina. I stain everything. Like, I can't wear white. I can't like we'll pick out our outfit before class, and like before class, like I've already
like you need like the shirt before the shirt, the outfit before the outfit before the outfit, because we know it's getting stained.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. You're like, you didn't even eat anything, and I'm like, I know. Like, I don't even know how it's
The other day we had eggs. Bro, there's still egg yolk on like the two-tone training mat from you. Like, how?
Dude, I like know what sneakers I wore because there's egg yolk on my sneakers too.
That's actually not what I wrote. I wrote that you don't make the cold brew. So
all right, not to go back, not to beat a dead horse.
But I'm really upset about this cold brew situation. Okay, I wrote, again, chicken scratch, is your biggest pet peeve of me is my lack of TikTok dance skills.
Oh,
is
honestly,
that it?
That isn't it, but that honestly does usually end in like a battle, like
yeah,
battle royale.
You're
I'm so over her by the end.
Yeah,
like, I can't run through this dance anymore.
Yeah, like I've gone over it. You're not swinging, you're not snapping to the beat, and you just
I'm like, can you add a little pep in your step here?
A little swag, if you will, like stiff.
No, I actually wrote like doesn't listen to me, and I'm just gonna circle back to this morning when I was like, Leah, emphasis on the iced for iced coffee, and I get a piping hot coffee mat. Okay, so I sound dramatic, and like that's a bad example, but I feel like sometimes you do tune me out, and I'm just gonna say it right here.
I'm not gonna fight you on that. I'm not arguing. It's true. Okay. All right. Next one. Favorite poip. All right. What's a poip, you're asking? Shay and I have coined this term.
Yeah, everyone's going to start using it.
Okay, buckle up.
Get ready for it. All right. So a poip is a pig out in peace. Like, you know, on that Friday night when like you have the option to like go out.
Yeah.
Or poip, or just like pig out in peace. You're like, I just want to order a bunch of food. Like,
and poip.
And poip.
Yeah, like legit. We say it all the time. So start saying it. Start telling your friends. Like, so yeah, sometimes you are in the mood to get drinks and fancy up and make good conversation. And sometimes you just want to poip. Yeah, so we'll look at each other. We're like, is this a poip night or like a going out night? And usually 99% of the time we're like, poip. All right. So favorite poip meal.
All right, so I'm writing what I think you wrote.
Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I wrote 2 things for you and on the money. Buffalo anything and scoops. Scoop and Scootery. Shout out.
Okay. I wrote Scoops and Scootery
too
for you.
Yep. That's correct.
If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's like a local, I think it's just in Boston. Am I right?
I think so. Yeah.
It's like an ice cream place. And guys, these Sundays are just like next level.
Yeah. If you want to like see food porn, look them up on Instagram. Yeah, it's crazy.
Check them out.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Favorite signature two-toned exercise.
Okay.
All right. So for those of you that work out with us, like we have like a few exercises that we just like love and we incorporate into like so many of ours, like for like our finisher or whatever. So I'm writing what I think you wrote. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Star Jack.
Star Jack. Okay, you didn't get that right for me.
Oh.
I wrote Loaded Beast because, shout out Allie, I love to pounce. If anyone doesn't know what a loaded beast is, just think about pouncing. So that's my favorite. I wrote Star Jack for you because I know you love a good Star Jack.
Yeah, like a Star Jack, a Plank Jack, anything Jack. Sign me up. Oh my God, this is fun. It's kind of funny. Like before we got into this game, we were definitely really stressed about it. We're like, I'm so confused. Like I'm writing down what you wrote. Like I don't know. Like
there was a lot of confusion.
Yeah, we're going to stick to fitness, but that game was good.
That game was fun. Guys, toners, thank you so much for tuning in. This was such a blast.
All I'm going to say is I think some of our biggest takeaways from this and from this episode is anything you're passionate about, it's going to be sometimes hard work. It can sometimes be discouraging, but stick with it because we promise you it is worth it. If it's something you're passionate about, like have your pity party, have your moments, but then take a look back at it and being able to kind of like appreciate yourself, how far you've come, and just enjoy the experience because I think sometimes it's so easy to get lost in the goals or hitting certain numbers and not enjoy the moment that you're in.
That can apply to anything in your life. Enjoy where you are. Be proud of yourself for how far you've come and keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Thank you guys so much for your support, for tuning in.
You can tone from home.
You can tone from your phone.
But all we ask is that you don't tone alone. Bye, guys.
Bye.